I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum. Oh.
God, and we're fucking recording, bro. Oh, what? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite store that you've ever visited in your entire life, the VHS Doom Rental store. Yay!
Yay!
We're so glad that you're back again for some insane times talking about some sweet films.
This is going to be our first non-horror episode.
Yeah. Welcome to our very first non-horror film review, or overview, we should say. I don't know. Would you call them reviews? Do we give enough opinions?
I don't know. I usually say deep dive because we usually talk about the plot and then we talk about our favorite parts of the movie.
I'll jump into opinions sometimes if I think that they're pertinent. You know what I mean? Like with
the Faces of Death one.
Faces of Death, yeah. Like I'll give you my opinion on that. But sometimes I just like the movie so much I just like talking about what happens in it. So
yeah, I don't really like talking negatively of movies, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not too much of a critic. I mean, I can be. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, you guys probably seen it on our Twitter, but
yeah,
certain things I don't really like. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think we've been reviewing. I don't think we've done any blind reviews. I think that's the difference, right? So when you get someone like, Roger Ebert and whoever he's working with, at the time.
I just think once he saw horror movies in the 80s and had noticed those past practical effects, he's like, I'm out.
Maybe. But I feel like when you get someone who's blind watching new films, I think that if I blind watched something I'd never seen or didn't have any expectations going in, I think I'd have more of an opinion. You know what? Actually, I'll say today with Thief, because that's the movie that we're going to be talking about today.
Yes, Michael Mann's Thief from 1981.
I have not seen that before my first watch. So I think I do have some opinions on that I'll share.
Okay, I'm excited to hear it.
What's that?
I said I'm excited to hear it.
Dun dun dun. Yeah, I'll let you know those as we get into it. But yeah. So anyway, before we get all into the show, how was your week?
It was good. Mostly just outside with my son-in-law. He likes playing outside. He's really obsessed with Land Before Time, so he'll use his little dinosaur toys outside, beside of our house, nice. And go after leaves and say they're tree stars, like how they say it in the show, and feeds them to them. Yeah.
You know what's funny? My daughter's in a phase like that where she has this one garden gnome outside. My wife does that. My daughter will pick grass and go feed it to the gnome. That's really sweet.
That's scarier than feeding a dinosaur leaves, honestly.
I don't know. Maybe the gnome's alive. Who knows?
Wait. Wasn't that a Vern Troyer movie?
Likely. Yeah.
It was a killer gnome movie.
I believe it. I don't know what it's
called.
What it's called.
It's called Gnome Alone.
What is it?
Gnome Alone.
Gnome Alone. Okay. Well,
I might be wrong.
Pull out my handy dandy telephone.
Yep, I was right.
Gnome, Gnome, Alone.
Wait, no, he's not in it, is he?
Gnome Alone is a cartoon.
All right, I'm thinking something else.
So Gnome Alone is a lighthearted, funny, and amusing Netflix children's movie made in 2017. It's an hour and 25 minutes long.
Patrick Stump is the star.
Yep, directed by Peter Lepinitis. And Josh Peck plays Liam. Okay, well, maybe we'll recommend this one for the kids.
I gotta look this up. This is bothering me now.
George Lopez plays Zook.
No, I think I just made this up. We're gonna delete this.
No, absolutely not. I'm leaving it in. All right, Vern Troyer.
That's ableist as fuck that I thought you'd be in a movie called Gnome Alone.
Gnome movie. It is called Gnome Alone.
I was right.
You are. So are there two movies called Gnome Alone? Yes, there
Oh, good.
are. Okay, so this is worth discussing. So in 2015, Vern Troyer played in the movie Gnome Alone, which was directed by... Oh, actually, they don't have the director listed. Casting director was Lauren de Normandy, and cinematography was by Johnny Kearns. So, summary, when Zoe inherits the magical protection of a bewitched gnome, she quickly realizes that he isn't your garden variety gnome when he begins eliminating her enemies in extravagant displays of revenge. All right. Okay.
Yeah, be careful. Your daughter might be putting out revenge on people.
Right. Well, surprisingly, only 2 years later, the exact same title, spelled exactly the same way in 2017, was then put out by Netflix as a lighthearted, funny, and amusing kids movie where a teenage girl moves into a new house in a new town and discovers her house is under attack by underground beasts. After making the discovery, she finds that she and the house gnomes are the only ones who can offer protection to the town. That's wild. Okay. I had no clue that any of this existed until today. And I like learning.
I don't know why I thought of Gnome Alone when you said about it.
I love it. I love that I learned this. So, folks, if you didn't know, in 2015 and in 2017, titles Gnome Alone were both released to two very different types of audiences. So be careful when you go to show your kids Gnome Alone and make sure it's not starring Vern Troyer.
Oh my god, that's like the movie Frozen and then Adam Green's Frozen.
Careful.
You don't want to show kids people dying in the ski Alps.
Oh, man. You know, it's like that one time I mixed up Land Before Time and Green Inferno. How does that happen?
When did you do that?
I'm just kidding. I'm just being stupid.
Sammy would be horrified.
I was like, yeah, that dinosaur movie, Green Inferno. I think I have it over there. Let's check it out. Holy shit. Anyway, okay, yeah. So we got a little off track there, but so you had a good week. Did you watch anything this week?
So I watched Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers.
So Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers, Chud.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I watched two movies. One being Chud from 1984. It starts off, you see somebody being taken down by these creatures, like this woman. And you find out it's this detective's wife. And then throughout the movie, they think it's homeless people who are killing people. But it's these weird, like, mutant things that live under the sewers.
Okay.
John Hurt is in it. It was put out by New World Pictures and directed by Douglas Cheek. It was one of the first movies I ever bought when I started collecting. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah? Okay, cool.
And just another one was 1986's Vamp. It's a really fun movie. It's these two frat guys they're trying to travel to find a stripper for their college friends, but they end up finding vampires.
Okay.
And It's really good. It's a horror comedy.
Yeah. Who was it? Who stars in that? I'm sorry.
Grace Jones. Greg Canham did the special effects. Robert Russler and Chris Makepeace.
Okay. Cool. So that was what you watched this week?
Yeah, and then a bunch of not bunch, but a couple episodes of Barry and Yellow Jackets. Me and my wife are catching up.
Okay, nice. I saw the advertisement on for Showtime for Yellow Jackets. I don't have Showtime, and I won't allow myself to buy another subscription.
Yeah, dude, the horror ones are getting ridiculous for me.
Yeah,
I have like Shout Factory, I have Shudder, Screambox, Tubi. I used to.
Yeah,
and it's funny because I have this whole collection sitting here.
Yeah, no, I know it's getting to be a bit. We have Netflix and Disney Plus and Hulu and like all the regular, stuff.
We canceled Netflix once they turned the 4K up to like $20.
Oh, geez. Good
Yeah, I
Lord.
couldn't
Yeah,
do it anymore.
I think my Netflix is like $16 now or something. So I'm probably, I don't know. We use it, here and there for shows, but not that much.
There's not much good stuff on there anymore. Everything's going to other places.
Yeah, my daughter's really into Dora the Explorer. That is like her show right now. She loves that show, and that's all on Amazon Prime. So
yeah, the Nickelodeon one, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then so as far as like what I watched this week, dude, honestly, like nothing besides Thief when it comes to movies. So my brother-in-law was in town visiting my mother-in-law. She lives with us and watches our baby, which is great. But they got into this like Married at First Sight show, which is like, no offense, because I told John, that's my brother-in-law, about the show. So if you're listening to this, John, you were watching trash.
John. Haven't seen
Hi,
you in
John.
like 10 years now.
We miss you. But you were watching trash with my wife and my mother-in-law. So they
I think it's fine. I've shown Carla and John and you multiple trashy movies.
Oh no, I'm not talking trashy movies. I'm fine with those. I'm talking like reality trash. Married at First Sight.
Oh yeah, I can't.
Oh my god.
There's some things I can't take, like that kind of stuff.
I can't either. So I mean, I end up like zoning out, like working. I was working on the Doombox podcast script for the Twilight Zone. That's still going. And doing some other like work related stuff. But unfortunately, that just didn't give me much time to watch, any other movies besides Thief, which we're going to talk about today, which was great. That was like the best thing I did for myself was like zone out and watch Thief.
It's
while they
totally
were
a palate cleanser, I think, for like the stuff we watch.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it was a good watch. It was a very well filmed. The art of the film itself really drew me in. So like, Michael Mann is known for his nighttime scenes and like his lighting.
Miami Vice, yeah.
Yeah, specifically like night shots. And the art in that is crazy good. So we'll get into all that though. Michael Mann has been listed as like top 100 directors consistently by numerous sources.
I definitely think so.
I didn't know a ton about Michael Mann, so I was kind of diving in on that. But
like he did theater plays too in Chicago with Stuart Gordon, if I'm not mistaken. So it kind of links to last episode.
Right? A little bit. Yeah, so I mean his most acclaimed works, which would be, Thief as his first one, but then Manhunter in 86. Last of the Mohicans in 92. Did you ever watch Last of the Mohicans?
Yeah, I've seen it a bunch of times.
Yeah, I don't know that I ever watched Last of the Mohicans. My father-in-law is really into that film. Did you watch it with like your uncle or your dad?
It was either my uncle, but I remember watching it in school too for some reason.
Oh, that makes sense. You know what they always showed us in school was Braveheart, like in history class?
Yeah, I think that they did that too. And then like when The Patriot came out too.
Oh, The Patriot. Yeah, it was like all Mel Gibson shit.
Yeah.
Like history class movie day was always Mel Gibson.
Wish they would show Lethal Weapon,
Oh, right. That would have been great.
Or Mad Max or Road Warrior.
Yeah, for sure. Any of those. I mean, Road Warrior, that could be history eventually. Who knows? Anyway, and then Heat in 1995.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, The
I
Insider.
Do an episode on Heat.
What's that?
I want to do an episode on Heat.
We should. That'd be awesome.
We should have Ramit on for that one.
That would be awesome. Dude, I would love to have Ramit. Yeah. I didn't realize he did Public Enemies in 2009. I didn't realize that. And I didn't realize that he was executive producer for Miami Vice at all. I just didn't realize
that was his show.
So. Yeah, I know. I didn't know. I didn't put all that together. So this was a good learning exercise for me, which I love. So anyway, well, so let's talk a little bit about what happened last episode where things ended abruptly. We were kind of trying to cash out our customers here. We had to scoot them out the door pretty fast because
Scabby Man started throwing things and getting mad.
Scabby popped up behind me and kind of cut the show short.
He sent me to another place. It was weird.
Bro, he tried to tell me to cut my stomach open with the letter opener that I had up in the front, and I almost did it. I almost eviscerated
He wanted you
myself.
to reenact the cover of Anthropophagus where the guy is pulling out his organs to eat them.
Yeah, pretty much. So, luckily, last second, some mental fortitude popped up, and I said, "No, Scabby, get out!" And then I was okay. But yeah, listen, folks. First of all, Scabby has to go home. Like, he has to go back to Jimmy's house. Like, he has to. You need to make this happen, Mikey. This is on you. I love having him here sometimes.
He kind of just follows me wherever I go now. It's kind of scary.
Oh, God. Yeah. When he pops up behind you and just randomly tries to get you to suicide yourself, it's not okay. That's not okay. So, he's a little too scary for our customers sometimes, I think, but maybe not.
I think he started showing up right around when we were talking about the burning, because he kind of looks like Cropsy, so maybe he was trying to fill in the role of Cropsy.
I don't know, man. I think that maybe he haunts you, So, unfortunately, he puts you in some weird places. Like, you talk to Cthulhu and somehow make it back. I don't know, man. I don't know. But even Balthy was like, man, Scabby's a lot. So he's got to stop the hive mind stuff. He's got to stop trying to get me to kill myself and eviscerate myself. Like, he's got to stop.
He wanted you to eat yourself, too.
I'm going to have to revoke his membership card. I mean,
he's
it's
trying
covered.
to see if you can auto-cannibalism actually worked.
Dude, the last time he handed me his member card and tried to get me to check him out, it was covered in this, slime goop stuff. Like, I couldn't even touch it. I knew if I touched it, I'd immediately be lost in the void. So, yeah, it's a lot.
You kind of lose a sense of time and your body elongates. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, anyway, today I let our customers in here and I locked the door behind them. I don't know if that actually.
Too. He's known to
I don't think it does anything exactly because he's special.
If anybody has a scab, he just appears on top of it.
Yeah, it's a lot. So anyway, that's kind of what happened last week. We're glad you're back. We're glad you didn't get too scared off by that, because it can be a lot. It can be a lot coming in here, and never knowing if your kids are going to join the scab army or not, or if they're going to be fed scab tabs. But
did I just hear an owl? What the hell?
Shh, no. What?
You didn't hear that?
Oh, a real owl?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear it. It did what? Do that again?
I'm not doing that noise again.
Do it again. It did what? Awesome. All right, cool, Mr. Grundle. Well, anyway, yeah, this week we're going to try to keep things a little safer. We'll see what happens, but we're glad you came back, and yeah, we'll still recommend a movie for the kids, even though you didn't bring them with you, and I understand that. We do want this to be a family-friendly environment as much as it can be, but
I had to turn away 2 children standing on top of each other with a trench coat.
Oh, geez. Was it 2 or 3?
It was about 4, actually.
4?
No. It was 4 of them.
Were they going to do the business?
Two different tall people.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right.
They said Scabby and Balthazar would let them in.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, you can't trust him. But that's all right. We'll be all right. Everybody's locked in here. We'll be okay this week, hopefully. We'll see. Anyway, well, step on up, folks. Close to the counter. Come on. Bring it in. Because this week we have a very cool title that we're recommending and that we're going to talk to you about. Thief, 1981, by Michael Mann. So bring it on up. Come on. So Thief is a 1981 neo-noir heist action thriller film directed and written by Michael Mann in his feature film debut, starring James Caan in the title role. He plays a professional safecracker trying to escape his life of crime, and Tuesday Weld plays his wife. What was the wife's name?
Hold on. I think I made a note of that. I'm sorry.
Jessie. Tuesday Weld, which I had never seen her or her name before. She plays Jessie, and Willie Nelson plays Okla or David, and then Jim Belushi, but he's credited as James Belushi, plays Barry. That's like the main set there. I'm going to look up. So Tuesday Weld began acting as a child in the 1950s. She won a Golden Globe Award for Most Promising Female Newcomer in 1960, and she played dramatic roles across the following decade. She was in so many movies. I mean, before Thief, she was in Serial in 1980, and then Once Upon a Time in America in 84.
Such an amazing movie.
Yeah.
One of Sergio Leone's best movies ever.
It looks like she slowed down at that point in her life with film, because like 81, 82, 84, 88, and then she didn't do anything else till 93, 96, and then 2001. And then she stopped acting, it looks like, because she... Oh, no, she's not passed away. She's 79. She's still alive. She lives in New York. But she was in just a ton of movies. So Tuesday Weld, someone I did not know, actually, pretty cool. So anyway, let's get back to the back cover here. The supporting cast includes James Belushi, Robert Prosky, Dennis Farina, and Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson.
It's just a whale that has like his like hair on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it is played by a well that has hair on it.
Yeah.
Willie Nelson.
Oh, it has a bandana and like the pigtails.
Someone just leans a guitar against a well.
Yep.
All right, nice. The screenplay was inspired by the book The Home Invaders, Confessions of a Cat Burglar, which was a memoir by former cat burglar Frank Hoymer. The original musical score was composed and performed by Tangerine Dream. Let's just say, I'm just going to say this soundtrack was dope as fuck.
It's my favorite soundtrack of all time. I usually say like, oh, this is my favorite, that's my favorite, but this is like my top one, I feel like.
Honestly, most of the soundtrack I could imagine like playing in the background of our like VHS Doom store or like on the website, and it would just make sense, It
would.
Yeah, I liked it. So I could see where you liked it for sure. A couple notes before we get rolling on some of these actors that I just mentioned. Okay, so it was the very first film appearance by Dennis Farina, who was a detective at the time that he got this part. He was a detective in Chicago. So he had some actual real-life experience there. William Peterson, it was his first film appearance. Now, William Peterson would go on to play Gil Grissom in CSI, his most notable role.
And he was, oh my God, what was the name of the character? Will Graham from Manhunter.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, and then it was also Jim Belushi's very first film role.
Was it really?
It was. And it was Robert Prosky's very first film role. So Robert Prosky was older. He was the crime boss, right?
Yeah.
And he has a super recognizable face, and I'm like, why? Well, he went on to just be in so many films in the 80s. 90s, 2000s. So he was like 50 at the time that this movie came out, and it was his first film role. So pretty cool, it's never too late to start doing stuff, is what that made me feel. So pretty cool.
One fun Bravo, please.
I know, right? Yeah, maybe we can get that done when we're 50. Who knows? And then I feel like I should also mention, because personally, I kind of hated Jim Belushi because of his sitcom.
Yeah.
My parents, I think, were really into that when it was out.
So am I.
And that's like around the time that I was in high school and middle school. So I was like, oh my God, what a piece of trash.
It was just a bad show. It was a bad sitcom.
It was a bad show that was on for like quite a while.
Yeah, they kept doing that with like random like actors like Kevin James and King of Queens.
Right? Yeah. Absolutely. Or who was the guy that passed away? He was in 10 Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter. That would have been John Ritter.
Yes, John Ritter.
Good Lord. Yeah, so anyway, that was like a big thing, I guess, where they were taking these like actors, like funny actors from the 80s, 70s, 80s, whatever, and putting them in like low rent, like
Damon
sitcoms.
Wayans had one too. My Wife and Kids.
Everybody Loves Raymond, right?
Ugh, I hate that show.
Dude. Anyway.
You know what show I hate?
So
I'm probably gonna get shit for? I hated Seinfeld.
Did you? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I don't hate Seinfeld because I watched a lot of Seinfeld when my daughter was first born and she was up for overnight feedings. It was a really easy show to watch.
I definitely know those. We watched Nurse Jackie and a couple other shows. We watched Sopranos twice because of that.
Oh, wow. No,
was,
see, I couldn't do anything too intense. I needed my brain to feel like it was still asleep. So Seinfeld was a good one. So that's why I like that. Oh, you know what else? Danny Tanner.
Bob
Saget. Yeah, Bob Saget in Full House. Like the dirtiest comedian of all time. They put into like a low rent sitcom. That was just a thing to do. Okay, so anyway, I hated Jim Belushi because of that like sitcom that he was in. Well, come to find out, Jim Belushi's got some cool stuff going on. So he actually owns his own marijuana grow farm called Belushi's Farm, where you can buy his products. Well, he sells his products to dispensaries where you can buy them in Oregon, Massachusetts, Maine, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, California, New York, and Michigan. And he's actually expanding, apparently, to Colorado, Mississippi, New Mexico, South Dakota, Missouri, Illinois, and other states eventually, I guess. But he has a show on Discovery Channel called Growing Belushi. I think I would probably like that a lot more than I liked his awful sitcom. So, anyway, that's my note on old Jim Belushi. So, anywho, so moving on. It was directed by Michael Mann, as stated. It was also written by Michael Mann. It was produced by Jerry Bruckheimer and Ronnie Kahn. Son of a bitch!
He did it again.
Produced by Jerry Bruckheimer and Ronnie Kahn. Fun fact, Jerry Bruckheimer is 79 years old.
Wow.
In my head, he's not. I don't know why. I imagine him being younger.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I just looked him up today, and he looks like he's trying not to be 79 very hard. It's like those people, like Cat Lady, that really scares you.
It doesn't scare me. It's just unsettling.
Bro, when people get older and they really fight it, they try to fight gravity, and they start to look like real fake, that does bother me too. I get it.
It's like...
No offense to anyone.
I'm afraid of mannequins too, if that helps.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the cinematography in this film was by Donald E. Thorin. It was edited by Dove Honig. And then it was put out by Mann Productions. It's 123 minutes, so it's one of the longer films that we've talked about in the last few episodes. It was released on March 27th, 1981. The budget was $5.5 million, and the box office did come out at $11.5 million. Wow. So they made a little money. Good on them. So it debuted at the Cannes Film Festival, where it competed for the Palme d'Or. I don't know what that is. What is the Palme d'Or? The highest prize awarded at the film festival. Nice. Okay, cool. I see you. I see you, Mr. Grundle. Mike's name today, Mr. Grundle, for those who were wondering. All right. And then the film was then later released to the United States on March 27th of 81 to widespread critical acclaim. There he is again. Creepy. And he's gone. All right. So let's jump into this plot. Before we do, Mikey, do you have any notes on this film that you want to talk about before we get into the action?
I was just going to say 2015 is when Criterion put it on Blu-ray.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, this has a 4K film scan transfer.
Nice.
It looked
All
beautiful
right.
on
Good
my
information.
TV.
All right. So the plot. Dun, dun, dun.
Do, 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 do.
Scabby? No. No, he's not. Shh. Shh. Calm down, Scab. All right. Quiet. Okay. All right. So Frank is a jewel thief, an ex-convict who has a very set structure to his life. With a pair of successful Chicago businesses, which would be a bar and a car dealership, as fronts for his criminal enterprise, Frank sets out to fulfill the missing part of his life vision, a family, with Jesse, who's a cashier that he has shown interest in. I feel like we jumped through a lot just in that paragraph, but the film opens with a really great nighttime scene.
In the rain.
What?
In the rain.
In the rain. Yeah, which would kind of go on to define Michael Mann's like cinematography, I guess, where they're pulling a heist and he's drilling into a safe. So, right from the beginning, this is a thief, it. And you then see his car dealership and you see his bar, when he's going through his daily life. And he knows Jessie as the cashier from where? Where was she? In a diner?
I think so. I could be wrong.
I can't place it mentally where she was for some reason. But yeah, so he, you get to see his businesses, you get to see his life and how everything's structured. So after he takes down that diamond score in the beginning, Frank gives the diamonds to his fence as someone named Joe Gaggs. However, before Frank can collect his share of the money, Gaggs is murdered for skimming from the mob's collection money. Barry, Frank's friend and associate, making the pickup, discovers that a plating company executive Gaggs was working for, which is Adaglia. Am I saying that right?
I think you're saying it right.
So Adaglia, I think, is responsible for Gaggs' murder and stealing Frank's payoff. In a confrontation at Adaglia's plating company, Frank demands his money back. So Frank goes over to this plating company, goes in, says he has a meeting with the guy, gets into the office, and then that's actually where he's pointing the gun at Adaglia is one of the movie posters.
Yeah.
They took the frame of him and put it onto a movie poster. So it's you definitely get to see James Caan's like swagger in the beginning of the movie, like, how he holds himself, how he plays this character is very similar to how he holds himself and plays other characters that I saw him play.
This movie
he's not near. What?
This movie reminded me of Drive.
Yeah, you said that. It did, right? It does. I could kind of see. I don't know.
Knowing Refn, he probably did get influenced by this movie for that.
Yeah, maybe.
Because he's like one of those filmmakers
I'm not
like
sure.
Tarantino or De Palma, where like you can see their influences like on the screen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, some people really do carry their influences in, right? Like Tarantino with his, he was like a huge fan of like blaxploitation films,
and Nazi-exploitation
right?
too.
Yeah, like because his mom would drop him off at the theater and just let him watch what he wanted to watch, and he'd spend a day watching those kind of films.
You've seen the clip of him saying he was copying Umberto Lenzi when he said, "In effect, to the people."
Yes, he did. Yeah. He's imitation, such a big form of flattery.
All right,
right?
sorry to get off the course.
No, it's okay. Yeah. So I was going to say I could definitely see. So when he was younger, James Caan had this like swagger. The way he carried himself, the way he walked was like a very like 70s swagger. And I mean, this was 1981, but he was only like 5 or 6 years off playing Sonny Corleone, right?
Yeah.
So I could see, when you see Sonny Corleone and the way he carries himself as like a mobster prince in that movie, you can see the same carry in this movie, I think. I think he just has that swagger in these early films. I don't know. Anyway,
what about in Elf?
In Elf?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he like starts to beat the crap out of his own son at some point, I think he's still got that tough guy mentality in Elf.
I did see one other thing this week. Step Brothers.
Did you watch Elf?
Step Brothers.
Step.
Because you and Jimmy kept sending me
friends?
gifts from it the other day.
Right. Are we best friends? Oh, my God. Yeah. The Catalina wine mixer.
Oh, my God.
Man, I haven't watched that in a while. Anyway, let's jump back in.
Sorry about
that. No, you're fine. So, yeah, I definitely can see that James Caan swagger throughout this, like, get me my money, you got 24 hours. The way he holds himself, the way he walks through the film, it's
the way he
classic.
talked to the adoption lady. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, we'll get there. All right, so he was pretty intense. This leads to a meeting with Adaglia's employer, Leo, who is a high-level fence and Chicago outfit boss. Unknown to Frank, Leo has been receiving Frank's goods from Gags for some time. Leo admires Frank's eye for quality stolen goods and professionalism and wants him working directly for him, offering Frank large profits. Their meeting is monitored from a distance by police surveillance. In this scene where they're meeting, so I definitely saw the police surveillance in the tower, like they were kind of hidden in a tower watching. But then there was also somebody on a roof holding a gun. Did you see that? Do you think that was a police officer, or was that one of the I couldn't tell, it was kind of dark, but was that one of the gangsters?
I don't remember, honestly. Like, I don't know if it was a
right?
cop or not. That's what I'm trying to say.
So I'm pretty sure Adaglia told Leo, you just need to kill him, like when Frank was driving up. So I think that they had a guy with a gun on the roof, and I'm not sure if it was one of like the henchman characters, like, maybe I don't know, like William Peterson or Dennis Farina. I'm not sure, but maybe. Who knows? You might have to replay that.
I wouldn't mind watching it again, like second time in a row, so that wouldn't be too bad.
So let's continue. Frank is initially reluctant, not wanting the added exposure or complications. Later that night, a conversation with Jessie changes Frank's mind when she agrees to be a part of his life, after he relates the tale of prison survival via a toughened mental attitude. Okay, before we move forward, there's more information there that's not included here in my notes. So Frank shows up 2 hours late for his date with Jessie because he had to go meet with Leo and the gang, and she's pissed. She's at the bar, she's mad, and he's like, listen, you're gonna listen to me. It's like this, like, there was a trope, in like 70s, 80s, probably even 90s. I think it died out by like the early 2000s, where like the real tough guy like slaps some love into you. Well, they go through that trope in this movie.
I
so
think they
he
got
grabs
that from
Jessie.
noir movies. No,
What?
wasn't that been like a noir movie like trope?
Is that a noir movie trope?
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know that it's limited to noir movies. I know that it existed in noir movies, but I think that there are a lot of films, probably across a lot of genres, but like a lot of romantic films and stuff, where in like the 70s and 80s, you would the male character would grab the woman and
there's a
slap
lot
her
of Italian
because
movies like that.
Yeah, I think that carried over for a while into a lot of genres, but yeah, no, definitely noir for sure. Where that was like a tough guy. grabbing his woman kind of thing, right? So that's the trope that they go through here. He grabs her, takes her out of the bar, in his fit of passion, punches some random person on the street, throws her in the car, and they take off. And he's like, I'm a bad guy. So classic trope that just don't fly no more, which is a good thing, bro. So he, pretty much kidnaps her and then takes her to, they go to get coffee. This scene where they go to get coffee and he discloses his backstory and like his prison time to her, was super powerful. That was a really good scene, really well written scene, and really well framed scene. So I don't know where they shot this scene specifically, but in some sort of like cafe or some sort of like restaurant that was like sitting over a highway, maybe it's some sort of like bridge restaurant, I don't know, but the background having the traffic come through with those two like framed up sitting talking to each other was really just amazing as far as like cinematography and a shot goes. And then also like the story itself was really powerful, so you learned a lot of depth about both of these characters at this exact same time, where Jessie had been through some really intense stuff herself and ended up, on the streets of Bogota, Colombia, I think she said, dealing with some really intense stuff, assault and whatnot. And then Frank also opens up and lets her know, like, hey, I've been through some awful stuff and been assaulted and had to, get violent to protect myself. So what are your thoughts on this scene?
I thought it was very heavy. Like the same way you described it.
Yeah, super heavy. Yeah, for sure.
I really liked the way he delivered his lines.
Yeah, he said he has said that it's one of his favorite like performances, that scene.
I think it's his best, honestly, this whole movie.
Yeah, I think it's really up there.
He made it feel like it was like his movie.
He did, yeah. He really took control at this scene, almost, is what it feels like. Yeah. So, he relays some really intense information to her, and he shows her a picture of his like dream board. Essentially, the man's a dream boarder.
Willie Nelson's right up there too.
What's that? Oh yeah, Willie Nelson is on his dream board. That's his like mentor that we kind of hear about earlier. Did he go see? He did. He went to see Willie Nelson in prison prior to this date because Willie told him, just be honest, man. Like, she's going to know. She's going to find out. You're going to tell her now or she's going to find out later. So that made him be honest, which was good. It was really good. So anyway, he recounts this whole backstory, his prison time, his assault, where he got beat up pretty good and was, going to be raped essentially, and protected himself and just had to learn that you just have to not care if you live or die, which I think translates into later portions of the film. We will move on. So Frank, let's see here. Frank now agrees to do one big score for Leo because now he has everything on his dream board except he needs the money for it, right? So he tells Barry that this is going to be their last job. After being rejected at the state adoption agency, with Leo's help, Frank is able to acquire a baby boy on the black market who he names David after his late mentor named Okla. So to unpack a few things there. Willie Nelson in his role of Okla, my only complaint there is that he didn't get enough screen time.
Yeah, we needed more of that.
Right? I think that like his interaction with James Caan and when they go in the beginning and he's giving him advice, they seem so genuine the way they're like smiling at each other and talking.
I thought of that too.
That's such like a real relationship. It felt like, and then I was really hoping because James Caan, Frank said, he was my mentor. He was one of the best thieves of all time. I was really, really hoping that he would get out and actually help with the score. Like, that was my hope. So when he died and was pronounced dead at the hospital, that was really depressing.
You texted
for me.
that right as I was watching that scene.
Yeah. Oh my God. That messed me up. I'm like, come on. They had the opportunity to develop this character a little more. Maybe have him die, by gang violence or something. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah. So they name their baby boy after, with David after that character, Willie Nelson's character, who goes by Okla. So then Frank, after resisting a shakedown from a group of corrupt police detectives...
that interaction, I wanted to talk about that. Was wild.
Yeah, let's go.
It was wild.
Mm-hmm.
The things they were saying to each other and like the ways they were beating them up made no sense.
Bro. Yeah. Okay, first of all, this film, they just didn't give a shit, and it's super racist in some part.
Yeah.
That's the time, right? That's like 1980. People would just call you stuff. If you were Italian or Puerto Rican or black or whatever, right? But yeah, they say some shit to each other. Also, I'm not going to lie.
The phone book thing was funny.
The
way they threw the phone book at him was kind of funny.
Oh, God, they beat the crap out of him with the
phone book. And a trash
can. Yeah. So... the detective there, let me go to the cast. So the detective, Sergeant Urizi, is that what he said his name was?
So.
Urizi? So his name in real life is John Santucci. John Santucci was actually a convicted felon and was hired on and in his role as the actor, but also was a consultant because he had worked with thieves in the past. So John, he something about the way he carried himself, the way he spoke, the way he interacted with Frank really bothered me, and I didn't like his character a lot. Not that, the way, just his look, man, he looked dangerous, and maybe that is because he actually was in prison and he was like, a former thief. But he came across as the most valid threat in my mind. Does that make sense? The way he carried himself and interacted, I'm like, that guy's a little dangerous. And he really was at one point in his life. So that was interesting to find out for me. Did you want to say anything else about the interrogation?
I thought the trash can was pretty funny, too. I don't know why. It's just like the way they hit him with it was kind of funny.
Dude. Yeah. All right. So let's move on. All right. So Frank ditches their surveillance of the cops. Frank and his crew are then involved in the large-scale diamond heist that had been organized by Leo. All goes well with Frank's burn job, and he's expecting the agreed-upon sum of $830,000 for the unmounted stones with a wholesale value of $4 million. Unfortunately, when Frank returns from the job, Leo gives him less than $100,000. This is all Frank will receive in cash, according to Leo, who says that he invested the rest of Frank's cut in shopping centers in Fort Worth, Texas, and in Dallas. And that's an idea Frank had previously rejected. In addition, Leo sets up a Palm Beach score for Frank in 6 weeks without consulting him. Frank tells Leo that their deal is over. He takes the cash as he leaves, and he demands the rest of his money within 24 hours. So we'll get into some production notes on the actual job, like getting into the safe that they made the score on, which are really cool, but we'll hold off on that. As far as the plot goes, they did a lot of surveillance on this building, and that was a cool part for me. They detected how many phone lines they needed to cut. They detected that there was a radio signal. They figured out the code word that they needed to get in. So he paid a lot of attention to the details of getting in to the building itself, which I like that.
Yeah, I like the scene where Bellucci is messing with the wires.
Yeah, yeah, and Bellucci's listening in to try to figure out the secret code Mexico. So that was all good. I liked that level of detail. I also like the level of detail on getting into the safe. So as we'll talk about a little bit later, the tools that they used and featured were all actually real tools of the trade. Everything in this movie was real. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But anyway, so Frank makes a lot of demands. He shows up at Leo's house with a gun. He's real angry about feeling duped. Leo wants to continue to work with Frank in a nice way at first, but then feels betrayed. So things go down. So Frank drives his car to his car lot, and he was unfortunately unaware that Leo's henchmen had already beaten up and captured Barry and are now waiting to ambush him. Frank is knocked out, and Barry is killed by the enforcers. He's shot with a shotgun. Frank awakens with Leo staring down at him, surrounded by Leo's henchmen. Leo informs Frank that he, Jesse, and their child, and everything he owns are Leo's property. He threatens Frank's family if he doesn't continue working for him. Leo warns Frank to focus on his responsibilities. When Frank returns home, he orders an uncomprehending Jessie out of their house, telling her that their marriage is over and that she has to immediately leave, and that he's not joining her. He kicks her out and said, "It's over, get out." Frank instructs his associate to drive her, the baby, and he gives her $410,000 in cash to somewhere that they can never be located. So when they're getting rid of Jim Belushi's body, it looks like they're in like a laundromat or something, but then they just dump him in boiling water. Or is it acid? I don't really
It's probably acid.
Acid?
Yeah, boiling water wouldn't really do anything.
I know, but acid don't just boil. I don't know. That's like a trope. Actually, in House on Haunted Hill,
yep.
When they open up the cellar well and it's filled with acid, it's just like boiling the whole time. So maybe that in our minds, acid is just boiling all the time. I don't know. But anyway, they dump him in something and get rid of the body. Now, Frank has nothing to lose. He starts going ham. So he's back in that mentality of if you don't care, you can do whatever, right? Like he was in prison. So he blows up his family home using high explosive charges. He then drives to his business establishments and blows them up, both his car lot. He burns most of his cars with gasoline, and his bar he blows up with explosives. And then armed with a pistol, he quietly breaks into Leo's house in a peaceful neighborhood, pistol whips Adaglia in the kitchen, and then Frank hunts for Leo, killing him in the living room. Frank then pursues Adaglia as he tries to escape from the house, but he is confronted in the yard by Leo's bodyguards. In the ensuing gunfight, Frank is shot, but he manages to kill the trio. Frank loosens what appears to be a bulletproof vest he's wearing beneath his jacket and walks away into the night. All right. That concludes the general plot, with not nearly enough details, but as much as we're going to get today. A few thoughts. How do you feel about him walking off into the night?
I liked it. Because it opens up to maybe he actually went with her.
Maybe not. Yeah, so it leaves a lot open. I was a little annoyed by it. I think there wasn't enough closure for me, and maybe that's me as a person having a problem with not having closure in a movie. But I didn't love that. I was like, damn it!
He destroyed everything. He didn't really have anything left to go back.
Right? Yeah. So what's he gonna do? Did he burn up his entire vision board and just call it done? And what's he gonna go
Or was he just going to reinvent himself somewhere else?
Disappear? Yeah, I don't know. That leaves a lot open, and I don't love it, but that's okay. I don't have to love that bit. Funny stuff, when he kills Leo, I saw this video the other day on Twitter, and it was when actors are told that they're shot and they die. And then me, who's watched a lot of absurd videos on the internet, and he gets shot, this guy in this video, and he actually looks like he actually got shot, because you know what it looks like when somebody gets shot for real if you've scanned the internet enough.
Sadly.
So Leo, when Yeah, right. When Leo gets shot, he does this whole convulsing thing where he's like, and it made me laugh a lot. So that was great. Also, his bodyguards are completely useless for being like a crime boss in Chicago. Like Adaglia went to get some milk and got knocked out and then just got killed in the street. So I was like, come on, guys. Like that. I don't want to say it was cheap. I just want to say it was a little too easy for Frank. Because the bodyguards were outside. They weren't paying attention. He was able to break into the house unscathed and then killed everybody. No problem. But that's okay. Not tearing it up. I liked it. I like the scenes. Just throwing that out there. So, any plot notes you want to add in, Mikey?
No, we've covered most of it.
All right. So
I did remember one thing though, but it's like unrelated, like what I've watched this week.
Yeah.
I watched on Shudder the last drive-in episode of The Mutilator and Possession.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
I was live tweeting at a certain point and I fell asleep, but yeah, they did The Mutilator from I think it's 1981. It's an awesome slasher movie. It's getting a sequel soon.
Okay.
And Possession from 1981 from Andrei Jurolowski. It's Sam Neill's in it. It's about this couple who's getting divorced, and pretty much the director wrote it while he was going through a divorce.
Oh, okay.
And gotcha. It descends into like crazy Lovecraftian things at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Well, maybe I'll cut that and put it back in the beginning.
I was going to ask you if you could do that.
Yeah, maybe.
I
will try my best.
It last week.
Oh, were you? Nice.
Yeah.
I really like that community. I mean, they're funny people. So
they're awesome.
I like them. I'm down with them. All right. Cool. So let's move on into production notes. So there were some really cool production notes that I liked a lot that I found as I was doing research on this afterwards. First, here's a little quote from Michael Mann about development. So he made James Caan do research as a thief for the role. And Michael Mann said, I always find it interesting, people who are aware, alert, and conscious of what they do and are pretty good at it. People who want to put in 50 or 60 hours a week and go home and are not really conscious of life moving by don't really interest me much. As a part of the curriculum designed for an actor getting into character, I try to imagine what's going to really help bring this actor more fully into the character. So one of the most obvious things is it'd be pretty good if James Caan was good at doing what Frank does as Frank. Okay, sure. As I stated earlier, it was the first film appearance for several actors.
I used to help them when I was a kid. I was making a joke that I used to help them when I was a kid, but you didn't hear me.
Oh, you helped out with the Chicago outfit?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, nice. Okay, gotcha. What were you, safecracker?
Yeah, my name was Antonio Fettuccini.
Your name was Antonio Fettuccini Panisi?
Penis.
So, fettuccine penis? Okay, got it. Cool. That's probably like the worst mob nickname you can get. Everybody would just want to kill you on sight. Hey, it's fettuccine penis. Come on, boy.
Noodle dick motherfucker.
You noodle dick, bitch. Okay, so continuing. Chuck Adamson, who played Detective Ansel, and Nick Nikias, were also Chicago police officers, while Gavin McFadden, who plays Detective Burresco, was a journalist who later served as an advisor to Mann's 1999 film The Insider. So, anyway, interesting notes on some of the cast here. In 1986, both Farina and Santucci were both cast in Mann and Adamson's TV series Crime Story. Farina as a Chicago police lieutenant and Santucci as a jewel thief. Peterson, who would later star along with Farina in the Mann film Manhunter, briefly appears as a barman at the club. The influential Chicago improv teacher Del Close has a brief appearance as a mechanic in a scene that was improvised with the other mechanic actors. That was real brief there, wasn't it? But I do remember that one. So Thief was filmed on location in Chicago and in Los Angeles, California. Jerry Bruckheimer and Ronnie Kahn served as the film's producers, as I said earlier. Being Michael Mann's feature film directorial debut, Thief showcases many of the cinematic techniques that would later become his trademarks. Chief among these is the cinematography, which was by Donald E. Thorin, utilizing light and shadow to give the proceedings, especially those taking place in the darkness of night, a sense of danger. The film also earned plaudits for its meticulous attention to detail, the tools and techniques of the trade, right down to the oxy lance used to penetrate a safe that are authentic.
I love that thing. It looks so cool.
Right? It's authentic. It's the result of Mann's decision to hire real-life thieves to serve as technical advisors. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, he put the work in and got actual tools and tips on how this would actually look. And let's see here. Oh, so another cool note. Near the end of the film, Frank destroys his house with a bomb. So the film company built a false front onto a real house and attempted to destroy that false front with explosives. Unfortunately, the explosions severely damaged the real house and led to its demolition. So,
how did they not think of that? Like, that's just stupid,
right? It's like one of those moments, like I don't know, George Romero throwing a burning dummy off a roof in Brooklyn. Sometimes you just do it to get the shot, right?
To blow up the house,
right? But they actually blew up the house. So cool stuff, man. I was kind of wondering, because in that scene where the house blows up, it looks real blown up. So,
it's real blown up now.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder if they built that, if that was like a set or whatever. But no, it was a house. So yeah. Anyway, and then let's see. Lastly, on production notes, James Caan's emotional several-minute monologue with Weld in a coffee shop is often cited as the film's high point, and Caan has long considered the scene the favorite of his entire career. The actor liked the movie, although he found the part challenging to play. He said, quote, "I like to be emotionally available, but this guy is available to nothing." So that makes sense. It probably was hard for him to connect with the character in that case. I think he did bring some emotion to the role, though. I think he was honest with his emotions in the scene in the coffee shop, and I think he was also really honest with those emotions in the scene in the adoption agency. So I think he made it work.
That scene was amazing.
Yeah. So music So Mann has gained a reputation as a director who uses cutting-edge music for his films. Thief's moody soundscapes were composed and performed by Tangerine Dream. And this was their second of many notable film scores composed by the group throughout the 1980s. Tell us a little bit about Tangerine Dream.
So they were founded in 1967 by Edgar Fraus. I think that's how you pronounce it. They're German. Wow. They've had a lot of members.
Yeah, they had a huge group over time. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm trying to get to their filmography there for movies. 1977's William Friedkin's Sorcerer. I wanted to actually do this for another episode of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like really like electronic, almost synthy. I enjoy it a lot.
It is. It's real good. So they kind of do this thing with the music, where they start with like that synthy, like '80s experimental electronica.
I guess
in
you
the
would call it
beginning.
now synthwave because that's what it is now. I don't know.
Yeah, synthwave, sure. And then they kind of move into more of like a jazz blues scene. So like where Frank's going to tell Jesse about like the offer from Leo, and then that transitions from the meetup all the way to like the jazz club. They have like a different music vibe going, but then they get back into like synthwave stuff for like the intense like scenes and robbery scenes and stuff. So it's an interesting soundtrack for sure. I liked it a lot.
It's really trippy.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like there were some additional music cues that were composed by someone named Craig Safan, or Safan, Safan. Anyway, a couple more notes here under reception. So the movie was actually released under the working title Violent Streets for the film festival, the 34th Cannes Film Festival. And then it went on to be titled Thief and released in theaters in 1981. The critical response at the time was really good, and the critical response as of today is still really good. So, quotes included swaggering James Caan at the peak of his charisma. And I know you hate him, but Roger Ebert did give the movie 3.5 out of 4 stars, and the only reason he withheld half a point was that, quote, Willie Nelson has played the character so well that I wanted more.
You know what? I actually agree with him for once as well.
I know. Yeah, I agree. That's the only reason I'm reading it, because I know it makes you mad.
It doesn't make me mad.
So,
it's just like I can't stand him because, like, I don't know.
I get it. He's a hater. He is a hater. But if you listen to my last episode of Doombox, you know that me and Balthy always talk about killing the critics. So anyway. All right. So that kind of takes me to the end. Do you have any final notes that you would like to discuss about Michael Mann's Thief?
Oh, I have notes from last week.
Oh, well, okay. So let me wrap up then. All right. So Mikey's got nothing left for Thief. I've got nothing left for Thief. That's what we got for Thief. We hope you guys enjoyed our deep dive into Michael Mann's 1981 Thief starring James Caan. Super good film. Highly recommend. Check it out yourself. You're taking that one home today. But let's jump out of this, and we're going to head over to Mike because we have a couple corrections from last week that we wanted to mention because we messed some stuff up. So
yeah, listen, we fucked up.
Mikey, take it away.
Okay, so when we were talking about Die Hard and Hans Gruber, I said that the director and writer Shane Black directed Die Hard when it was John McTiernan. I don't know how I confused that. That was weird. And I think you had a note too, right?
I did, yeah. I had a little silly note on The Fox and the Hound. So I think that I said that The Fox and the Hound were voiced by, I don't know, 2 people that were completely wrong. So the voices of Copper and Todd, which are the Fox and the Hound, are Kurt Russell and Mickey Rooney.
You said Mickey Rourke.
I think I said Mickey Rourke.
You
and
did,
I think
you
I
did.
said, I don't remember who I said instead of Kurt
That's
Russell.
a completely different person.
Way wrong. So, yes, Kurt Russell and Mickey Rooney for The Fox and the Hound. Anyway, yeah, so good corrections there. So, Mikey, let's see. What else are we going to recommend? I didn't really get any good employee discount rentals out this week, so I don't have a lot of recommendations. But you know what? I'm going to recommend the kids movie before you go on with your other recommendations. So I'm going to say that they need to check out this week. On top of Thief, they should take Home. What was it? Gnome Alone. 2017's Gnome Alone. Be careful. Don't rent 2015's No Malone. It has to be 2017 No Malone, which was starring George Lopez and also Josh and Drake, Josh Bell,
Josh
Drake.
Peck.
I don't know what Josh Peck. Fucking shit. Anyway, what are you recommending?
Well, I was going to recommend one for the kids. It's like one of my favorites from when I was a kid.
Okay, cool. What?
An American Tail.
Ooh, okay. What's that?
It's a young mouse, Fievel Mouskowitz, and his family immigrate from Russia after their home was destroyed by cats. And they pretty much live in New York City.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Dom
cool.
DeLuise is in it. Don Bluth, who I recommended Black Cauldron last week. He directed that or did that too.
Okay.
It was
nice.
Amblin and Disney.
Love it. All right, good stuff. So far we have Thief for the adults. We have 2 kids movies, 1 No Malone and 2
American Tail.
Okay, so we have Thief, we have 2 for the kids, we have No Malone and American Tail, which brings us to 3. So you're going to have to make 2 recommendations for them to take home.
All right, so I'm recommending from 1986 Vamp. It's an awesome vampire movie starring Grace Jones. And hopefully I don't stutter when I say this again, but Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers, Chud, from 1984.
Okay, got it.
And that's a monster movie.
Okay, so perfect. All right, so then we're going to have 5 movies for you this week. Now, as you know, the reason we're doing 5, and maybe you don't know if it's your first time listening, but VHS Doom Club members, which is $3 a month for the card, get 5 free rentals a week at the VHS Doom store. None of that's real. I just made it up. But that's the program. So
Yeah, you don't have to give us any money. You can just listen to the show.
Yeah, you don't actually have to give us any money, but you do get 5 free suggestions and rentals, we call them, every week. So, with your VHS Doom Member Club card, you're taking home 5 rentals this week. Those 5 rentals are 1981's Thief by Michael Mann, which we covered in great detail today. You're taking home 1986's Vamp. You're taking home Chud from 1984. No Malone from 2017 for the kids. And a classic kids movie, American Tail from 1986. We think that those 5 are going to carry you through the week, and you're going to have a great time watching them. Come on, grab some popcorn, grab some candy. You need a sody pop? Bring it on up. Shh, stop it. Stop. We're not doing that this week, Scabby. Mike, take care of that right now. Get him out. We're not doing it this week. No. I'm going to put you in a closet. I will put you in a closet. Okay, that's enough.
Okay, I'm back.
Right.
What happened?
Just sit down. You're going through a lot
scared.
today.
What did he do now?
Right. Stop. All right, customer, come on. Let's check you out. Holy crud. Scabby's a lot. All right. Yeah, friends. So that's what we got for you this week. We hope you enjoyed your time in the store, and we had a lot of trouble trying to keep Scabby locked up. Balthy's off for the day, so we had an easier time.
He's never here when I'm here.
Yeah, he pops in and out. He's got a lot going on. So
I heard he's been talking shit.
Yeah, causing chaos over on. Oh, yeah, when you got out of Twitter jail, I saw that. That was pretty funny. He was talking shit. But anyway. Okay, yes. So, you got your movies, you got your popcorn, you got sodas, you got your candy, you're headed out the door. But, hey, before you go, real quick, if you want, we have a staff shirt for sale that you should go check out. Check out our website, vhsdoom.com. Scroll to the very bottom. We've got a staff shirt there that you can purchase and join the VHS Doom actual employee crew. And then if you want, you can work my shift next Tuesday because I have a doctor's appointment and Hugh Janus won't let me go off early. But yeah, no, for sure. You got to buy the shirt, but you can work here if you want. That'd be great. so I could take a day off. Anyway. All right. We appreciate you guys so much. We're glad that you keep tuning in. We're officially over like 100 listens now. So we
Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a lot. We're not a crazy big show or anything, but we love you. You're great. So thanks for continuing to tune in. You can follow us on Twitter if you haven't already at VHS Doom Pod. You can follow Mikey on Twitter somewhere. He'll tell you that later. I don't know what the new handle is.
It's a surprise for now, or secret.
Yeah, secret. Keep your Twitter secret for now. You can follow my other podcast, the Doombox podcast at Doombox Pod. And you can go follow Mikey's other podcast, Dab of Death, as well. So check us out. It's a fun little podcast community. We keep it fun. We keep it low key, and
the Scabby Man
that's
Extended
us.
Universe.
Yeah, the Scabby Man Extended Universe is essentially what all that is. So
shout out to Jimmy.
All right. Yeah, shout out to Jimmy and his paralysis demon. All right, y'all. Well, thanks again. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but hope you guys have a good week. Get out of here. Bye. Go on.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.